What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Power Rankings for Week 3. But before I dive into it, hit that subscribe button to be entered in our giveaway at 500 subscribers. But first, we got to talk about who was excellent last week at the plate. You got Luis Ariz and Jared Kelenic are my two picks. Ariz hit over 500, almost 600 last week, an OPS of 1.632. He also hit for the cycle against Philly, the first player this year and the first in Marlins history. And then you got Jared Kelenic, who was on a tear for 4 straight games, hitting 4 home runs in a row in that period with 6 RBIs. He hit over 400 as well and an OPS of 1.571. So these two guys are heating up early in the season, and I expect it to continue. And for pitchers of the week, I have Hunter Brown and Johan Oviedo for the Pirates. Hunter Brown had 2 excellent starts, 2 wins, 2 quality starts, didn't give up a run in 14 innings pitched. And then Oviedo with 1 win, 2 quality starts, and an ERA of under 1 with 15 strikeouts in almost 14 innings pitched. So these two guys have been electric early on and have propelled their teams to wins when they have pitched. With the team of the week, I have the Braves 6-0 last week. They won 4 games in 1 run or less. And 3 of those wins were against the Reds. 1 was against the Royals, and then they blew out the Royals the next 2. The pitching staff looks top tier again. Bryce Elder looks like he's going to be the new ace for this team. It seems like every year they have one breakout starting pitcher. With last year with Strider, now Elder. They're ranked 4th in the MLB in average and RBIs. And Michael Harris and Max Fried are expected back this week. So this team is only going to get better. And then before we go into the full power rankings, here's the biggest movers for this week. Going up 6 are the Orioles, up 5 are the Twins, and up 4 are the Mets. And, there was a few other teams up 4 as well. And then the biggest fall this week are the Angels, struggling this week, and they're going down 7, along with the Padres and Cardinals going down 5. But we'll start at 30 through 21, and heading into last place for the first time this year are the Oakland Athletics. They, have looked very bad. The stadium is looking even worse, and nothing is going their way right now. The Royals stay put at 29. The Nats drop 1. And then my Tigers are moving up 3 to 27 after a very good week. They beat Toronto once. Then they swept the Giants, you could say, because they didn't play Sunday. But the Tigers team has looked a lot better this week with some walk-off home runs, a walk-off from Miggy. Baez is looking better at the plate ever since, he had his blunder on the bases. So that team is looking a little more promising. Maybe it's a little biased, but I have been overanalyzing them, and now they are starting to play a little better. So maybe things are looking up for them. Then you have the Rockies and Giants falling down out west. The Reds are moving up too after a very good week for them. Close games against those Braves. Could have won all 3. The White Sox moving down 2 after a brawl in the stands and struggling on the weekend against the O's. They are moving down. The Pirates, they put at 22, and those Marlins are moving up to 21 after being 500 after the first 16 games and competing with all the teams they've played. 20 through 11, this is where it gets kind of crazy. You see a lot of down and a lot of up, with the Phillies being the only team staying put here at 20. The Angels are moving all the way down to 19. The Cardinals are moving to 18. The Red Sox moved down to 17, along with the Mariners moving down to 16. And then you got the 2 teams moving up there with the Cubs and Rangers. The Cubs have been the biggest surprise to me so far this season. No one really knew what they were going to do. Kind of looked like a 500 ball club or a little less than that coming into the year. And this team has competed against the teams that they have played against. Dodgers, they beat them a few times, and I was surprisingly shocked that they really hung with the Dodgers every single game and even won a few as well. The Rangers, taking, I believe, first place lead in the AL West. So that's a big surprise too, a lot through 15 games for them. Those Dodgers I was talking about moving out of the top 10 after their shaky start. Diamondbacks up 3 and the Orioles up 6 with the biggest movers of the week. And those 2 teams, the Orioles and Diamondbacks, 2 teams kind of floating around the middle of the pack coming into the year, and now they've kind of solidified themselves as a little above that tier, not playoff contenders just yet, but I think right there on wild card teams that could contend through these first 15 games. And then the top 10, starting at 10, the Astros are moving down 4 spots after their struggling start. Guardians are moving down 1, mostly in part to the Mets heating up again the last week. Padres go down 5 after an abysmal week last week. They really struggled after, really playing well against the Braves the week before, and that earned them that number 2 ranking. And then now they just kind of lost it for last week, but they do get Tatis back here very shortly. And, he's been raking in the minors, so that'll be a huge boost to that lineup. Blue Jays up 1 after them beating the Rays twice to handing them their first 2 losses this year. The Brewers stay put at 11-5. The Twins are the biggest surprise so far this year at 10-6, leading the AL Central by a game. And they're moving into the top 5. I just think this staff, that Pablo Lopez for Luis Ariz trade, I think is going to be the big factor for this team in possibly winning the AL Central. Pablo Lopez has looked excellent in his first 3 starts. Luis Ariz obviously looks great for the Marlins. I think it's an early win-win for both of these sides, as the Twins staff looks like a top 5 pitching staff this year, along with Joe Ryan. He has looked excellent, and Sonny Gray too. So the Twins could be making a crack at the top 3 next week if they play just as good as they have been. But to round it out, you got the Yankees at 3, Braves moving up 2 after their big week last week. And of course, I got to keep the Rays at 1. Still 14-2 is a very good start, being 13-0 and then going 1-2 against the Blue Jays. It was due for some time for them to lose. It's not like they were going to go undefeated in baseball. We know that, but you got to give them credit where credit is due. The Rays have been excellent, and it only looks like it's going to get better for them. They still have a big division lead early on right now, but that division is going to be super competitive. So expect the Rays to fall a little bit here, but right now they are playing out of this world. And that's going to be it for this week's Power Rankings video. Make sure you guys check back next week to see who the players of the week are, who the team is, and where your favorite team ranks. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.